Well, I absolutely love pop-up cards. Look at how fun this is to open this up and have this movement where you get a beautiful three-dimensional little set of flowers inside of a little vase. So let me show you what the card looks like as well. So here we are using this brand new True Beauty stamp set, and look at that, and look how our greeting just pops up as well, and you get that beautiful layered look. Look at the detail on that. See how this is layered in here, and you can see that it all folds up so nicely to go inside. Well, let's talk about the mechanism. That's really the key to all of this, and how you do your gluing. So let's start out with our mechanism, and that is two pieces of cardstock, and this one is 5.5 by 1.5, and this one is 1 by 2.5, and those are marked here on your technique page and where the score lines are as well. So that's all written down for you, so you don't need to worry about that. So let's go ahead and get these folded. So we're going to fold on all of our score lines, and it is super important to make sure we get really good score lines. So that's why I'm using the bone folder to really get really good score lines on all of these, and I'm going to score this little piece on both those sides as well. And this is our little inside piece. It's going to give us an extra little layer for that, to give us a little more dimensional ability. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on just this little flap, and always when you want to do a box, you want to fold it flat. You want to always make certain that that is flat in this direction. I'm even going to give it one more little score there. I can use my bone folder too to kind of squeeze that glue around. And I do want to make certain that I don't have extra glue. If you've got that extra glue, get rid of it, because you don't want your card to stay closed. Well, or just get stuck being closed. So now you can see we have this cute little diamond shaped piece, and that's where this second little piece comes in. So this one I've already scored it on the two sides, and what I want to do is I want to put glue here and here. So I've got that on those two little flaps, and that's going to go inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of fold those in, and they're going to pop open right at the sides. And the reason for that is I don't want extra glue inside here. I don't want anything that's going to get hung up inside. So I'm going to push that down, and I am putting these down just a little bit below the line. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just like a 1/16 of an inch below there. And so now you can see I've got 3 layers of places where I can now glue my flowers to. So that's my whole mechanism, and the important thing to do is to then put your mechanism into the card, and you want to make sure that it's always going to fold flat. So whenever you're gluing there, just make sure it folds flat and does that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on this section. Now that's the smallest section, and that's very important that that's the small section, and then I'm on one of the larger sections in the back. And so just those two pieces, and I'm going to just carefully do that. I'm flipping this over, and the large section in the back. The small section needs to be on the left here. So I got the small section here and the large section, and back here is that fold where I had glued them all together. So I'm going to go to my fold, and I'm going to stick this in here where I want it to go, and I'm about a 1/4 inch up from the bottom just to give that a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and close this. And so I'm really going to push down nice and hard so that that glue is going to stick to both those two sections. And hopefully, if I did this correctly, when I open this up, this will fold open like that, and there we are. And so you can see what I've got. I've got the little section inside there that's up toward the top, and you can kind of look at it this way. You can see that I've got that. So, and by putting it in, closing it, I can be certain that it's going to fold flat in my in the envelope. All right, so that's the whole mechanism. Is that super simple and super fun? Now it's a question of going ahead and getting the pieces ready to go. Let me show you the pieces that I have here. So I've already gone and used a daisy and the other flower, so that one's glued. And so what I want to do is just quickly glue this one, pardon me, and I'm just using a small amount of glue. I want to make certain that that glue does not ooze out on the back. And if it does, I'm going to get that off before it goes into my card. So now I have 3 flowers and 2 of these cute little pieces there. Now all of these pieces came from these punches. The bow punch, the floral punch, I don't even know what that one's called, and the daisy punch. I think it's a fancy something. Anyway, just that was the greeting. So anyway, these are all current punches, and I just went ahead and got them ready just to show you that you can do this technique with combinations of punches as well as die cut pieces. So then we'll go ahead. We're going to start with our largest flower, and I'm going to glue on this all the way. I'm going to put glue on the center of the flower. This one is going to get glued completely down to the background. And again, I want to make certain that I have just a small layer of glue, nothing kind of coming out. And that one is going to get tucked in here on the last section and glued all the way to the back. And I'm going to have this one sort of be the most to the right, if that makes sense, the most out this way. So there's my first piece. I've got that glued. I can kind of stick my hand in there and pop that down. So I've got that piece going. Then let's take our next flower, and that's this one. And that one I'm going to very carefully, I'm only going to glue this one on the stem. So I just want a tiny amount of glue right there on the stem. And that one is going to go into this second layer right here. And so that's going to get glued. I'm going to put that down here, decide where I want that, and I can kind of stick my finger in there and make certain that that, kind of stick my finger in there. Maybe a bone folder would be better actually, probably to get that in there, but it just goes in that second section. So let me hold it there for a second. I think the bone folder is going to work better for me. Oh yes, that's the perfect thing. And that one is going to go right there, and it's just going to be glued to that second section. So can you see how it's glued just to that second section? You can see when it pops up, I've got one on that side and one on this side. And then my last little flower, that one is going to actually get glued to the inside. So I want to put my glue on the front edge of this. So just a little bit of glue on the front edge of that. And that one is going to slide down and kind of be up toward the top here. So that's going to be at the top of this little box. And so I'll just hold that for a second there, and you can start to see how we've got all of that 3-dimension going on with our cute little flowers. And then we can go ahead and add in a couple of these little pieces. Now this one I'm going to add behind another leaf. So just a little bit there. I'm going to add that one behind this second level, right back there, so it just sort of sticks out. There we go, just kind of sticks out like that. And this one I'm going to put on the top level, just inside here, just to give us a little extra dimension. Now, you could go crazy. I dropped it, so I got to go pick that up again. I'm always so lazy about holding the glue. This is a great place where tweezers would be a really helpful thing too as well. So just want to go ahead and hold that in place. I feel like I need a couple of extra hands here, but that's okay. There we go. Now we're finally ready to rock and roll. So there we are. So we've got that cute little piece there, and just watch how this opens and closes and kind of gives you all that 3D look for that. So that's all the mechanism there is to it. Now let's go ahead and add a greeting. I've already got this one stamped, and remember to just put a little bit of glue on the side that's going to be attached, and so we'll just attach that to our little floral vase here, making certain that it's not going to stick out. Good, good, good. When it goes, when the thing closes. And then we'll quick finish this off with a little bit of designer series paper, just a piece of designer series paper there and there. And of course you can always add more to this, but this is just your sample. So there we go. Now let's move on to our card, and we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did on our technique, but I want to move this over so you can see all the pieces. So let's get our front done first, just because I want to make certain that those pieces stay separate from the pieces that we're putting on the inside. So we've got this gorgeous AWASH with Beauty Designer Series paper. So I'm going to grab a couple of those pieces, and this is actually a lovely technique for stretching your Designer Series paper. by putting one piece kind of down here and another piece up here. I've only used, this is a 1 1/4 by 3 3/4 pieces of designer series paper. And then here, this piece I think is about 2 1/2 by 4. And so that piece kind of goes over the center just like that. And it looks like I have an entire piece of designer series paper behind there, but I don't. So that's a wonderful thing. So let's go ahead and put this little piece on. I've already glued it together. I've put a couple of dimensionals behind here. Dimensionals are only used on the front of the card because I don't want that extra thickness inside. I don't want to have lots of things that aren't going to sit flat when we do that. And I do actually want a little bit of glue underneath the bottom here. Even though I've got dimensionals on the top, I want a tiny bit of glue there. And I want to tuck this one in underneath there as well, because my bow is going to go there. And so I want to make certain that I kind of have that flat so that bow can kind of stick to that. And another little punch here. I just love this. This bow punch is just, oh gosh, it's my go-to for all this gorgeous foliage. And then we'll use a little glue dot here just to put that on. And then let's see, find one there and just put my finger behind there and pull that off. And there we go. We've got our cute little thing. And then we'll add just a couple of these cute adhesive dots. And these are being retired actually from our current January to June catalog. So I'm just going to kind of put a few of them around. One there maybe, and oh, I don't know. I can put them anywhere I want, but I think one there and a cute little one down here too. So there we go. We've got our cute little dots. So our front's all done. So now it's a matter of putting that mechanism together. And I've already gone ahead and done that for this piece. You can see I've got the 3 layers in here, and over here is where they come together. So that'll be the part that I glue to go inside the card. So again, we'll be gluing on the top, we'll be gluing the section that's small, and on the back we'll be gluing the section that's large. And we're going to pop that in here. So pretty close to the bottom. I'm probably, about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. I'm going to put that in place up against the fold, and then just close the fold and really press down on that to make certain that that piece is going to be glued in there. And then I can just let that sit for just a moment. And then let's talk about the pieces that we have here. I absolutely love the versatility of all of this. So we're going to, I've already glued this piece onto a stem, and these have been die cut, and I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of glue here and a little bit on that stem, that little leaf there, and pop this one on top of there. So I know that's good, and I don't have any glue showing on the back. That's great. And then this one, I'm going to go ahead and glue just the tips of these leaves up on top of this little flower. And then these, I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on here and a little glue here. And these little flowers, I'm leaving a little bit of green at the bottom of this, holding the base of that flower, and a little bit over here as well. That looks great. I could do one over there, but nobody's going to see it because it's going to be behind everything, so we'll just forget about that for the moment. All right, so now all of our flowers are ready to go in place, and I'll show you what this looks like, show you what we're aiming for. So we're going to, again, start at the back, and what I have at the back is I have these 2 flowers at the back. So those 2 I'm going to put in first. I'm going to stick yep, and looks like our mechanism is going beautifully here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue all over this piece, and I can even add a little bit up here in case that comes down a little bit. And that piece is, this is the one that's going to be sticking out the most into my card, so it's going to be kind of coming out this way the most. And then I have this one, and this is also going to go right down to the back, so I can use quite a bit of different spots of glue to put that on. And that one is going to go way up here at the top, just inside the card edge, right up there like that. So I've got that going on. Then the next layer will be, let's see which one is next. It's going to be this one. And so that one is going to go on top of the middle section. So I'm just going to put a little glue on there. That's all I need. And this is the one that's going to go right here. And it's fun because you can kind of position where that's going to go. And I think I'm going to use this technique where I use the bone folder to kind of push it down and hold that in place. And now, of course, now I have to be patient to let that just sit there for just a little bit while it gets used to being in that position there. There we go. And now we'll go ahead and put this one, this little guy in place. And that one is just going to get glued to the very front section. This one is going to go on the front of the piece here. I guess I can go all the way across here, I guess. And that one is just going to sit right here, kind of at a little angle like that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead, and I've got a couple of extra little pieces. So this one goes in that middle section, and this one goes in the front section. So I'll go ahead and tuck those pieces in as well. So I'm just going to put glue on the back of this one, and I'm going to tuck that one in to this section right here, into that middle section. And again, I think that bone folder is going to be my friend to just kind of push that in place. Just kind of hold that. I have to be patient, and that's certainly not one of my virtues. Turn that just a little bit, I think. And then this one I'm going to put in the front, and I'm going to put this behind the front panel. Just kind of stick that behind this front panel. And of course, the side of the card shows me exactly how far that can go. So there we go. And I think we've got it. Look at what a fun card we have with that great pop out. And then the last thing that we need to do is add our sentiment. And so we'll just put a little bit on this one side, and we'll just make sure when we put that sentiment on that we're not actually, I want to tuck that under there just a little bit, that we're not going to go outside the edge. Oh, we're just close, but we're not there, so that's great. And I can just push down on all of these things inside there, and they'll all just kind of get set. So look at that. Isn't that just fantastic? This cute little pop-up card. I know you're going to just love making tons and tons of these with all kinds of stamps and all kinds of sentiments and punches, and oh, just have fun with this technique. It is just awesome.